All right, as we take a look at question 3, it says Allison orders a 6-ounce grilled chicken sandwich and Dominic orders a 1/4-pound grilled chicken sandwich. Which sandwich weighs more? How much more? So obviously the problem is here we can't compare these because they're in different measures. So the best way to fix that problem is to put them in the same measure and then we can compare them. So we've either got to convert ounces into pounds or pounds into ounces so they're all in the same unit, which will make life a lot easier here. As you can see, what they've decided to do here in the first line is they've decided to convert pounds into ounces. So that's the route we're going to go. So at this point, it would be a good idea to look at our chart and see how we do that. Well, if we look back under the weight column again, because this is another weight, we can see that the very first conversion here tells us 16 ounces is a pound. So that's the conversion factor we're going to use when we set up our T-chart, the fact that 16 ounces is 1 pound. So if I come back over here and start converting here, again, I'm going to set up my T-chart. I'm going to ignore some of the work they did because, again, we're approaching these a little different way than the note-taking guide. We're going to scratch out this bottom left box, and in this upper left box, we're going to put what we're starting with. Since we're converting the pounds to ounces, we're starting with a 1/4 pound, so 0.25 pounds. If you want to put 1 over 4, you can put 1 over 4. It means the same thing. All right, so 16 ounces is a pound. So remember, when you write this in the conversion factor set, this next set of boxes, the set of boxes on the right here, units have to cancel on the diagonal. So since something with pounds is up here, something with pounds is also going to have to go down here. So since 16 ounces is a pound, I'm going to put the 1 pound down here and the 16 ounces up here. How do I know that works? Well, again, units cancel diagonally. So I see the pounds canceling diagonally. What did I not cross out there? I did not cross out the ounces. Well, that's perfect because the question was asking me to change this into ounces so I can compare them. That's exactly what I did. So, since I haven't crossed out ounces, I know I'm going to ounces here. How many ounces? Well, I'm going to multiply across the top. 0.25 times 16 is 4, and the bottom number is 1. So it's 4 over 1. 4 over 1 reduces to simply 4, as in 4 ounces. Now remember, that's not the answer to my question. That's just how much Dominic's sandwich is. We now know that Dominic's sandwich, the 1/4 pound sandwich, is really 4 ounces. We were told in the beginning that Allison's chicken sandwich is 6 ounces. So they want to know how much more does Allison's sandwich weigh? Well, Allison's sandwich weighs 2 ounces more. Simple subtraction, 6 minus 4 is going to change into 2. All right, so let's look at the concluding examples here. Number 1, choose the most appropriate unit for the measurement and justify capacity of a bathtub. So if we're talking about capacity, if we go back to our chart that we saw first, it's either got to be fluid ounces, how much is in a couple tablespoons, cup, that's the amount of a standard measuring cup, or a gallon, which is the capacity of a large milk jug. Well, obviously, if we're filling up a bathtub, fluid ounces is going to be quite painful. That's going to take quite a long time. If we do cups, that wouldn't be necessarily the worst thing ever, but that's still a lot of water to measure in cups. Most people get tired after measuring a few cups of water in a recipe, so filling a whole bathtub is going to take a while. Gallons, the capacity of a large milk jug, that's probably the most logical answer there. So gallons is going to be the capacity of a bathtub. Several large milk jugs would obviously help fill up a bathtub rather quickly. All right. Number 2, converting 255 feet to inches. Now, I don't need to look at the chart here. You should all know this conversion. If we're doing feet to inches, we know that 12 inches is a foot. That should be easy enough for us to figure out here. So let's go ahead and set up our T-chart here. Upper left box is where we're going to put whatever we're starting with, and we're starting with 255 feet. Bottom left box always gets scratched out, at least for now, so we're not going to worry about putting anything there. All right, over here is going to go my conversion factor, but again, we said this is a known. We know that 12 inches is a foot, so we're not too worried about that. We know that units have to cancel diagonally in this process. So the 1 foot is going to go down here, and the 12 inches is going to go up top. How do I know that? Because feet cancels feet diagonally. Notice what I did not cross out here is inches. So I'm going to multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and divide the 2. So I'm going to multiply across the top. I've got 255 times 12, which is 3,060. And on the bottom, I just have 1. 3,060 divided by 1 is 3,060. So 255 feet is 3,060 inches, exactly the answer they predicted. All right, one more. Pitcher had 2 gallons of lemonade. Amy drank 2 pints of the lemonade in the pitcher. How much lemonade remained in the pitcher? So we want to figure out how many pints are left, but the problem is that they told us how many gallons of lemonade are in there. So we want to get out of gallons here and figure out how many pints that actually is. And then what we want to do is go ahead and subtract out the 2 pints you drank to figure out how much is left in the pitcher. So if we come back over here and look at our chart, the problem is there's only one way to escape gallons on the chart. So we've got to use this gallons quarts conversion here, which means there's more to this one. Indeed, I can then chain that together with this 1 quart is 2 pints to get me to pints, which is where I need to be. So let's see how to chain a couple T's together. All right, you're going to start off just like we have every other problem with your T. Scratch out the bottom left box. The upper left box is where you're going to put what you're starting with. 2 gallons. All right, over here you're going to put your conversion factor. We already said the only way to escape gallons is to say that 1 gallon is 4 quarts. You know where the 1 gallon is going to go because units have to cancel diagonally. So since gallons is up here, the other gallons thing has got to go down here. So there's your 1 gallon. And up here is going to be your 4 quarts. All right, so gallons cancels gallons diagonally, as we know, and quarts is now up here. Well, that's kind of nice, but I'm not really where I need to be because I'm in quarts and I need to get to pints. So we have to do another conversion. So what you can do is you can solve this out now and then set up a whole nother T-chart. It's an option, it's fine. If you don't want to do that because it sounds like a lot more work, it's really not, but if it sounds like it is to you, all you want to do is just chain another T on here and make it a double T. And once you make it a double T, you're going to put the next conversion factor over here that you're going to employ to get you to your answer. The fact that 1 quart is 2 pints. Now, you're saying, oh boy, how do I know what to put where? Well, the same rules apply. Units have to cancel still diagonally. Remember, the only unit I want when I'm done is pints. Right? That's the only thing I want to see there when I'm done. So, that's what I want. That means the quart thing is going to have to go down here. I know that because that's going to make the quarts cancel quarts diagonally and leave me with the 2 pints. All right, pints is what I have not crossed out. That's where I want to be. So that's how I know I did this right. Again, that's the check every time. If you haven't crossed out the unit where you're supposed to be, unless you made some silly mistake or a multiplication mistake, you're going to have the right answer. So now we're going to use the same rules we've been using. Multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and then divide the 2. 2 times 4 is 8, times 2 is 16. And 1 times 1 in the bottom is 1. 16 divided by 1 is 16, as in 16 pints. Now, if you're looking at this answer that was pre-printed, you're saying, no, that's not the answer. You're right, it's not the answer, because remember, that's just what 2 gallons is. Right? To find the answer now, I have to subtract off the 2 pints that Amy drank to figure out how many pints of lemonade are left. Well, when I subtract the 2 pints here, that's going to leave me, of course, 14 pints. And as you can see, that does match our answer, 14 pints. There must be 14 pints of lemonade left in the pitcher.